Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD recovers from recent multi-a-year lows analysis. http ntvforex.com News ID BD957C92 2020 11:49:32 AM Notes Observations ECB's Lane comment on FX seen as implying that further easing might still be on the table. Asia-Australia Q2 GDP data confirmed technical recession first since early 1990s. Record quarterly contraction QOQ 7.0% v 6.0% EOY 6.3% v 5.2% Australia Treasurer Frydenberg stated that Victoria lockdown to weigh heavily on Q3 GDP with data seen slightly negative or flat. RBNZ Gov stated that it was actively preparing package of additional monetary policy tools if necessary. Additional tools that could be deployed include negative interest rates and additional quantitative easing. No concern with exchange rate. South Korea AUG CPI 0.7% v 0.5% EYY 0.7% v 0.5% Japan LDP confirms to hold leadership vote on September 14. Coronavirus total global cases 25,662,349 1.0% DD total deaths toll 855.6 K 0.7% DD Europe ECB's Lane Ireland chief economist stated that had seen a repricing in the euro in recent weeks. Reiterated council stance that ECB did not target FX rate, but EUR/USD rate did matter. America's House Speaker Pelosi issued a statement that stressed there were serious differences between the two sides in understanding the gravity of COVID-19 relief situation. Energy Weekly API crude oil inventories 6.4 MV 4.5 M. Prior speakers fixed income FX commodities Iratum equities indices STOXX 600 1.99% at 372.50. FTSE 1.83% at 5,969.65, DAX 2.30% at 13,272.65, CAC 42.24% at 5,048.89, IBEX 35.0.98% at 7,025.00, FTSE MIB 1.76% at 19,940.50, SME 2.13% at 10,406.00, S&P 500 futures 0.71%. Market focal points. Key themes. European indices open higher across the board and later advanced as the session progressed. Better performance being attributed to comments from ECB yesterday. Sectors performing better include materials and consumer discretionary, while financials and utilities sectors among underperformers. Reportedly ADP looking into more job cuts. Swiss regulator opens investigation into credit. Swiss over alleged spying on employees. Valurec enters negotiations with creditors. Atla NTIA reportedly looking into spin-off of Autostrade. Focus on series of speeches from central bank officials. Earnings releases expected in the upcoming U.S. session include Macy's, Brown-Forman, and Guess Equities. Consumer discretionary per no Richard RI.FR 1% earnings. Wizz Air Wizz.UK 2% load factor. Healthcare Evotech EVT.DE 1.5% agreement. Biomer UBIM.FR 1% earnings. Industrials Atla NTIA ATL.IT 10%. Considering spin-off, Barrett Developments BDEV.UK 6% earnings. Technology Computacenter CCC.UK 10% trading update. Speakers Italy Econ Min Galtieri reiterated stance that Q3 GDP seen rebounding. Believed that 2020 GDP to contract by over 8% but not much worse than that. Norway Central Bank Norges DEP Gov back do not envisage cutting the rates further. Would be natural for fiscal policy to take an active role. EU Brexit negotiator Barnier said to have left London after difficult talks with UK counterpart Frost. Singapore PM Lee stated that its coronavirus response was not without shortcomings but stressed that support could not go on indefinitely. Did expect more economic uncertainty and needed to strengthen social support for locals. Japan Chief Cabinet Secretary Suga confirmed his intention to run for LDP leadership as speculated. Pledged to do all he could to continue with ABE's policies. Currencies fixed income USD continued its recovery over the past 24 hours, aided by some optimism over the economic recovery and verbal intervention by the ECB's chief economist. One analyst noted that any USD recovery remained a selling opportunity in the G10 and in most of the emerging market universe. EUR/USD was lower by 0.4% in the session to probe the 1.1860 area. The pair did test above $1.20 for the first time since April 2018 during yesterday's trading, but some verbal intervention by ECB's chief economist Lane place a ceiling in price action for the time being. GBP/USD softer by 0.2% to test below 1.3350. Reports circulated that EU Brexit negotiator Barnier had already left London after difficult talks with UK counterpart Frost. USD JPY higher as various Japanese LDP leadership candidates stated to continue with ABE's economic policy in the upcoming September 14 party election. European bond yield were lower across the board as dealer took ECB's Lane comments as implying that further easing might still be on the table. Economic data to Germany: July retail sales 0.9% v 0.5%, EYY 4.2% v 4.1%, UK OG nationwide house price index 2.0% v 0.5%, EYY 3.7% v 2.0%, No Norway Q2 current account balance 20.5 billion Norwegian kroner v 63.2 b prior ES Spain OG net unemployment change 29.8 k v 9.0 k Hungary July PPI 0.7% v 0.7% prior, YY 3.4% v 3.1% prior, BR Brazil OG FIPE CPI Sao Paulo 0.8% v 0.6%, EU Eurozone July PPI 0.6% v 0.5%, EYY 3.3% v 3.3%, Fixed income issuance to Germany opened its book to sell new August 2030. Green Bund via syndicate guidance seen 0 bps flat to mid swaps. GR Greece debt agency PDMA opened book to sell euro-denominated 10-year bonds via Dux syndicate guidance seen 150 bps to mid swaps. DK Denmark sold total DKK 5.87 in 2022 and 2029. DBG bonds SE Sweden sold total 15.0 billion Swedish kronor versus 15.0 billion Swedish kronor target in 6-month and 12-month bills. UK DMO sold A400M in 0.125% index-linked November 2056 gilts. UKTI real yield 2.012% v 1.434% prior, bid to cover 2.26x v 2.13x prior. Looking ahead, AR Argentina OG government tax revenue Rs no ESTV 559.1 b prior 0530 to Germany to sell A4.0 b in 0% October 2025 BOBL 0530 Hungary debt agency AKK to sell 12-month bills 0530 ZA South Africa announces details of next bond auction held on Tuesdays 0645 US daily LIBOR fixing 0700 US MBA mortgage applications WE August 28 no ESTV 6.5% prior 0700 MX Mexico July leading indicators no ESTV 0.04 prior 0700 MX Mexico OG vehicle domestic sales no ESTV 72.9 k prior 0700 UK weekly PM question time in-house 0700 RU Russia to sell OFZ bonds 0800 BR Brazil July PPI manufacturing no ESTV 0.5% prior YY no ESTV 6.7% prior 0800 UK daily Baltic dry bulk index 0815 US OG ADP employment change 1.00 ME V167K prior 0830 CA Canada Q2 labor productivity QQ 6.5% EV 3.4% prior 0945 US July ISM New York no ESTV 53.5 prior 1000 US July factory orders 6.1% EV 6.2% prior factory orders X transportation no ESTV 4.4% prior 1000 US July final durable goods orders 11.2% EV 11.2% prelim durables X Transportation 2.4%, EV 2.4%, prelim capital goods orders, non-defense ex-aircraft no ESTV 1.9%, prelim capital goods shipments, non-defense ex-aircraft no ESTV 2.4%, prelim 10.00 US Fed S Williams 10.30 US weekly dough oil inventories 11.00 DK Denmark OG foreign reserves DKK no ESTV 455.6 B prior 12.00 US Fed S Mester 12.00 CA Canada to sell 30-year inflation-linked bonds 13.00 to ECBS Weidmann Germany 14.00 US Fed Beige Book 17.00 KR South Korea OG foreign reserves no ESTV $416.5 billion prior 1830. Australia OG performance of construction index no ESTV 42.7 prior 19.00 Australia OG final PMI services no ESTV 48.1 prelim PMI composite no ESTV 48.8 prelim 20.01 IE Ireland OG PMI services no ESTV 51.9 prior PMI composite no ESTV 55.9 prior 2030 JP Japan OG final PMI services no ESTV 46.6 prelim PMI composite no ESTV 45.0 prelim 2030 HK Hong Kong PMI whole economy no ESTV 44.5 prior 2030 SG Singapore OG PMI whole economy no ESTV 45.6 prior 2100 NZ New Zealand OG ANZ Commodity Price Index no ESTV 2.3% prior 2100 PH Philippines July Unemployment Rate no ESTV 17.7% prior 2130 Australia July Trade Balance $5.4 BV $8.2 B prior Exports 3% EV 3% prior Imports 8% EV 1% prior 2145 CN China Cakes and PMI Services 53.9 EV 54.1 prior PMI Composite no ESTV 54.5 prior 2330 TH Thailand OG CPI no ESTV 0.7% prior YY no ESTV 1.0% prior CPI Core YY no ESTV 0.4% prior 2335 JP Japan to sell 30-year JGB bonds. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me mt5.expert.advisors.